Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Thursday, the 20th of November. We'll continue talking to Hurriyat, says Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Indian fishermen return home after being released by Sri Lanka. And New Delhi and Dhaka pledged to combat cross-border terrorism jointly. And now for all the details. Pakistan will continue to talk with Kashmiri separatist leaders before negotiations with India, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has said. He also accused India of inflexibility in the long-standing dispute.
Addressing the Kashmiri Council meeting in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, capital Muzaffarabad, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif said he wants to see an early resolution to the Kashmir issue. Much to the discontent of India, Prime Minister Sharif added that he will consult Hurriyat conference leaders before any dialogue with India. New Delhi had in August called off the secretary-level talks after Pakistan High Commissioner to India, Abdul Basit, met the Hurriyat conference. India had long opposed Pakistan for engaging with the Kashmiri separatists. Islamabad, however, justified the meeting, calling it a decades-long practice. India's then Defence Minister Arun Jaitley had made it clear to Pakistan that Islamabad should decide on either to engage with the government or with the separatists. Referring to the cancellation of the talks, Prime Minister Sharif accused India of inflexibility on the issue too. Pakistan has a standing commitment with India to solve the dispute bilaterally according to the Shimla Agreement of 1972. But it has time and again tried to seek third-party intervention in Kashmir. The United States, UK and the UN had recently refused to be a party in the dispute and asked Pakistan to hold talks with India.
Bangladesh and India have planned simultaneous raids along the border to nab the hiding members of the outlawed Jamaat-ul-Mujahideen Bangladesh or JMB. The two nations have pledged to work together to probe the recent blast in India's eastern Burdwan district.
India's National Investigation Agency or NIA has reportedly exchanged the names of several suspected terrorists with Bangladesh who are allegedly hiding in either of the countries. The NIA team, which was in Dhaka to probe the Burdwan blast early this week, decided that both nations would jointly combat terrorism. The two sides verified information and lists of criminals exchanged between them during the two-day meeting. The Bangladesh government has also formed a high-powered committee to inquire into the information shared by India. The NIA has been investigating the case after two members of the JMB were killed in October while making homemade bombs in India's East Burdwan district. It also unveiled the terror outfit's plan to assassinate Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and organize a coup in the country. The JMB, which was also behind the 2005 serial blasts in Bangladesh, has been banned in both countries.
Former Afghanistan President Hamid Karzai has said his country will not allow itself to be used for a proxy war between India and Pakistan. This comes a day after former Pakistan President Pervez Musharraf claimed that the two neighbors could engage in a battle for influence in Afghanistan post the NATO troops' withdrawal.
Former Afghan President Hamid Karzai rejected suggestions of his country being the next turf for conflict between India and Pakistan. Karzai, who was in Indian capital New Delhi on Wednesday, said Musharraf's remark on using the ethnic groups for conflict was hurtful and unfortunate.
President Musharraf's remark where he said that there will be a proxy war between India and Pakistan once NATO leaves, and that Pakistan is preparing for it, and that Pakistan will use the Pashtuns across the general line towards Pakistan in the war against India. That was a very unfortunate remark. Of course, Afghanistan will not allow a proxy war between Pakistan and India in Afghanistan, and I'm sure India will be with us in this as well.
Karzai, during his entire stint of 13 years as the President of Afghanistan, had visited Pakistan 20 times. He, however, regularly accused it of destabilizing his country. Karzai said he had made all efforts to improve relations with Islamabad.
I told my friends and brothers in Pakistan that Afghanistan will not compromise on two things. We will not compromise on the independence of our foreign policy, and we will not compromise on our sovereignty. Other than these two, our independence and our sovereignty, every other thing is for a deal and for compromise. As you know, my efforts did not bear the fruits that we wanted.
Pakistan, which was only one of the three backers of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan in the 1990s, has always been apprehensive about the growing Indian presence in the country. India is one of the lead non-military contributors in rebuilding Afghanistan after nearly 3 decades of war.
The Indian fishermen who were on death row in Sri Lanka returned back to India to their families on Thursday. The 5 who were handed over to Indian authorities were flown to capital New Delhi on a special flight. They were released on Wednesday after Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa pardoned them. The fishermen, all from India's southern Tamil Nadu, were convicted last month after they were arrested by the Navy in 2011 for alleged smuggling contraband to Sri Lanka. Indian government, which took up the issue with Colombo, however, maintained that they were innocent and not involved in drug smuggling. At least 4 suicide bombers were killed as Afghan police foiled a Taliban attack on capital Kabul on Wednesday. This comes days after Afghanistan's chief executive officer Abdullah Abdullah assured that the country's armed forces were ready to fill in the vacuum left by the withdrawing NATO troops.
Afghan security forces repelled a group of militants who tried to storm an international zone in Kabul on Wednesday. The latest high-profile assault took place in a complex known as Green Village that houses foreign contractors. The attackers tried to break into the heavily guarded facility, leading to an hour-long fighting with the police. Though no casualties were reported, the latest assault is the second this week targeting foreign workers. 2 Afghan security guards were killed in a Taliban attack on a foreign army base in the outskirts of capital on Tuesday. Attacks on foreign troops have intensified as the US military coalition ends operations, leaving the fight against the Taliban to Afghan army. Abdullah Abdullah had reiterated that the NATO troops' withdrawal won't leave a security vacuum in the country as the capabilities of the Afghan National Security Forces were only growing. The CEO of the newly formed government added that the ambitions of militant groups, majorly the Afghan Taliban, to topple the administration will never turn into reality. The Taliban claims to be making steady progress in seizing control of the provinces being vacated by the NATO forces.
Indian spiritual leader Sri Ravi Shankar has said he is willing to talk to Islamic State leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Ravi Shankar is in Iraq to assist in relief mission in the battered country.
Sri Ravi Shankar, who was in Kurdistan capital Erbil, visited his parliament and interacted with the leaders there. He also met Kurdish Prime Minister Nechirvan Barzani and discussed relief work his organization was undertaking in the area. The spiritual leader said all efforts, including talking to the Islamic State chief, could be made to enable peace in the region. He also emphasized on the importance of bringing the unity back among various sects of the country.
यहाँ जो अलग-अलग समुदाय है इनके आपस में बहुत जख्म हुआ है, इनके दिल के जख्म को ठीक करना है, मैं लोगों को आपस में फिर एक विश्वास पैदा करने का, ये खासतौर से युवाओं में फिर वो एकता लाने के लिए क्या कर सकते हैं इस बारे में बात हुई.
Ravi Shankar visited refugee camps in Erbil run by his non-governmental organization and the United Nations for thousands of Yazidi children. He condemned the brutalities of the militants.
ये राक्षसी प्रवृत्ति है, इस चीज़ यही तो दिक्कत है. ये राक्षसी प्रवृत्ति है, ऐसी प्रवृत्ति फैलने नहीं देना चाहिए. सबको सतर्क रहना चाहिए इस बारे में.
Hundreds of thousands of minority Yazidis, Christians and Shias were forced out of their homes after the areas were run over by the Islamic State in the past few months. Hundreds who refused to convert were killed and women were sold as slaves by the militant group.
Indian intelligence agencies claim to have discovered communications between Al-Qaeda and the Indian Mujahideen, which describe a greater coordination in carrying out larger terror attacks in South Asia. Our political editor Smita Prakash has more in this report.
India has put its ports, airports and other sensitive locations on a heightened state of security following a recent bomb blast at the India-Pakistan border which killed more than 60 people on the Pakistan side. Indian intelligence sources say they have deciphered the code used to encrypt conversations between a terror group called the Indian Mujahideen and the Al-Qaeda. And the decrypted communications suggest that Indian terror groups are being trained to carry out attacks that would cause extensive damage to life and property in the South Asian region.
National Investigative Agency is investigating. Government of India is aware of this. I think the Indian security arrangements are capable of rebuffing the sinister designs of organizations like Al-Qaeda.
The Indian government has already identified 11 cadres of the Indian Mujahideen as actively fighting with the ISIS in Iraq and Syria. The US military drawdown in Afghanistan is also creating opportunities for the Al-Qaeda, and Indian security officials are witnessing increased activity by the group in Pakistan, Bangladesh and India.
The long-term objectives of the authorities will have to be de-radicalization, and that's a very, very long-drawn, carefully calibrated strategy which involves tinkering with the curriculum, which involves incorporation of the media.
With a heightened state of alert, however, de-radicalization programs need to be accompanied by tactics such as monitoring the activities of foreign-funded social organizations spreading radical messages. Messages that could lead to very proactive action being taken by India-based terror cells. Indian intelligence sources say that the Al-Qaeda has asked the Indian Mujahideen to kidnap Israelis in India and bring them to Afghanistan, where they could be kept as hostages. This has understandably set alarm bells ringing among India's security agencies. Smita Prakash for South Asia Newsline in New Delhi.
From silver screen to pages of magazines, Bollywood's favorite divas love to leave a mark everywhere. Take a look at what's keeping them busy even away from hectic shooting schedules.
Model turned actor Diana Penty unveiled the November issue of a travel magazine in entertainment capital Mumbai. A self-proclaimed explorer and travel enthusiast, Penty said shooting for the magazine in places like South Africa and Europe was very different than her previous modeling assignments.
Very different. It was way more chilled out, laid back. It was more about like enjoying the place, and it was very travel oriented, which I liked. It was, keeping with the setting.
Yesteryear diva Hema Malini took a unique endorsement. The 66-year-old launched a township titled Bollywood in a magazine style. The residential endeavour will be based on Bollywood lifestyle with the same glamour, convenience and scale. Malini said the project was meant for true Bollywood fans.
So much inspiration, so much love they have for Bollywood. So this is a very wonderful thing, and then they told me that this is completely inspired by Bollywood. So whoever gets the house, they will feel that they themselves are going to be a film star.
Current heartthrob Deepika Padukone also unveiled the latest issue of a leading Bollywood magazine in Mumbai. High on the success of a recent film, Happy New Year, the 28-year-old thanked her fans for their constant support.
I think for me what is important is the love and appreciation that you get from an audience. I think it's been very well received. I think the kind of reaction that I've got to the film is, I think that's what one really looks forward to. When you go out on the streets, you meet your fans, people keep greeting you, Happy New Year, or they say, Aapka kaam acha laga. I think that's the most satisfying feeling for me. As an actor.
Happy New Year, which opened during the festival of Diwali last month, has already crossed the $16 million mark at the box office. The film also stars Shah Rukh Khan, Abhishek Bachchan, Sonu Sood, Boman Irani and Vivan Shah.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. We'll continue talking to Hurriyat, says Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. Indian fishermen return home after being released by Sri Lanka. And New Delhi and Dhaka pledge to combat cross-border terrorism jointly.